Hello, students. Trust you've been having a great time. Welcome to your first basic science class with Mrs. Tega Festus. I look forward to you having a beautiful lesson. In this lesson, we'll be talking about matter. So you'll be learning the meaning of matter, and also you'll be learning identification of matter, the classification of matter, and finally the states, that's the various states of matter. So let's get started. First of all, we'll start with the meaning of matter. Matter is defined as anything that has mass and volume and occupies space. So from the definition I just gave now, we can see that everything around us is made up of what? Matter. Matter is all that's seen around us. So examples of matter, we have human beings, we have books, pencils, erasers, table, chairs, just anything you can see, even animals like the elephant, the picture of the elephant you can see now. Then we also have insects, we also have televisions, we also have plants, all of these, even rocks, all of these are what? They are matter. As far as you can feel and touch all of these things and they occupy space, they are called what? Matter. And even our cars, yes, the motor cars, they are also called matter because they occupy space. And matter are made of tiny particles called atom. So every matter you see are made up of what? Particles. Matter can be identified by their shape. So matter have definite shape, such as solids. Examples of solids are books, tables, bags, etc., etc. Some matter have shape, others don't. Example of matters with no shape are you have gas, water, and air. All of these ones I just mentioned now, they assume the shape of their container. That way matter can be identified is by their size. As you all know, not everything are same size. Some are big and others are small. For example, a baby is small and a man is what? Very big. An elephant is big and an ant is what? Very small. So this is how you identify matter. Number one, don't forget their shape and their size. Another way you can identify matter is by their color. Matter have different colors. For example, the leaf has green color, chalk has white color, sugar has a white color, you have pink, you have red, for example, white shirt. All of these are matter. So don't forget, you can identify matter by number one, their shape, their size, and what? Their color. This brings us to classification of matter. Matter generally can be classified into living and non-living things. And as we all know, living things are what? They are those things that have life in them. And non-living things are those things that do not have life in them. So now we're going to be seeing examples of living and non-living things. Number one, we have maize plant. Remember, I didn't say maize. Maize plant is different from maize because the plant is still in the ground. That means it's alive. That's why it's a living thing. So when you uproot that maize plant, the maize itself is not a living thing. Another one we have is the apple tree. Then we have cats, animals such as cats, such as dogs, such as rabbits. All of these are living things. So examples of non-living things, we have the table, we have the chairs, we have the ruler, we also have cars. All of these are examples of what? Living things. So in the next short video, you're going to be learning more about matter and states of matter.
Do you know what water, air, and rocks all have in common? They are made of matter. Matter is something that takes up space. Now, you might be wondering why they all look so different if they are made of the same thing. But the truth is that everything around you is made of matter, just in different shapes and forms. Matter is made of tiny particles called atoms. Matter can be grouped into three main states: solid, liquid, or gas. To figure out which state of matter something is in, we need to examine its properties. A property is the way that something is that we can measure. The physical properties we will look at to determine state of matter are shape, mass, and volume. Mass is the amount of matter in an object. Volume is how much space that matter takes up. Solids are easy to recognize. Rocks, apples, pencils, and plants are all examples of solid objects. A solid object has a definite shape that doesn't change when you move it or put it in a container. They also have a consistent mass and volume. This is because the atoms in a solid object are packed closely together, so they do not move around. A solid will change shape only if forced, for instance, if it is broken or smashed. If you look around, you can find many examples of solid objects. Liquid is the next state of matter. Liquids have a definite volume and mass, but they do not have a definite shape. The atoms in liquid are still close together, but unlike the atoms in a solid, they can move around. This allows the matter in a liquid to flow. Because liquids don't have their own shape, they take their shape from their containers. The same amount of liquid may look very different in a glass and spilled on the floor. You can find examples of liquids around you too. Water, milk, and juice are just some of the liquids you might find. The third state of matter is gas. Gases have a definite mass, but they do not have a definite shape or volume. Like liquids, gases take the shape of their containers. Unlike liquids, gases will spread out to completely fill the container they are in. If a gas is not in a container, it will keep spreading out indefinitely. This is because the atoms in a gas are farther apart than atoms in a solid or a liquid, and so they can move freely. The air you breathe is an example of a gas. You might have noticed that you can't really see air. Often, gases are invisible, but they are still there. There are many different types of gases in the Earth's atmosphere, like oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide, helium, and water vapor. Sometimes matter can change from one state to another. Water is a very good example of this. When water is frozen into ice, it is a solid. When it melts back into water, it is a liquid. When water evaporates into water vapor, it becomes a gas. Matter in all its states is everywhere. See if you can find solids, liquids, and gases around you.
So with these students, we've come to the end of today's lesson. Trust you enjoyed watching this video. See you in our next class.